Work from home staff worried they're being looked down on, missing out on promotions. This is a Daily Mail story. And by the way, I actually agree with the story. You are, if you're thinking this. Remote workers express concerns about being looked down upon by colleagues who have returned to the office, with 60% of hybrid workers having a sneaking suspicion that on-site staff have better career opportunities. According to McCrindle research, overall 59% of all workers believe that those in the office will benefit more in terms of career advancement. They will. Productivity is a key factor in this divide, with 67% of workers admitting they are more productive in the office than home. Again, look at the number.
Weird.
67% admitting, not 6%, not 7%, 67% they're more productive in the office than at home. This has led to the coining of the term superior officey, to describe the perceived superiority of on-site staff. The social divide between remote and on-site workers is also evident, leading to a desire among many employees to return to the office for the social benefits. This division has led to video conferencing FOMO, where hybrid and remote workers fear missing out on workplace happenings. Tom.
Well, guess what? The mainstream business media owes a lot of CEOs an apology, because now you're coming out saying, oh, poor people, poor downtrodden people, they need to be given advancement opportunities, need to be doing this. Where there were people out there, like you can look up, this guy went out on a limb. There was a division of Verizon, which was their media group called Oath, and a guy named Tim Armstrong was the CEO, and he was saying, wait a minute, I can show you in our annual review process that you're not getting the mentorship opportunities. You don't get the sidebar conversation with somebody before a meeting or after a meeting. You don't get exposed to somebody on a presentation or a project you've made when all you are is on a Zoom. And you're not going to get considered, not because you're not present, because you're not developing as fast. You're not in the human environment. And so I have no tears for the people that not for the people that were forced during lockdown because their city or whatever said, hey, you can't come to the office. They were forced home, and it happened in a lot of blue cities. But the people that fought, kicked, and screamed and cried to stay home, and Pat, we encountered some of them. We tried to interview them at the insurance company, and we're like, look, if you're this much trouble now, you're going to be trouble later. This interview's over. Goodbye. They are now coming back saying, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. The fact, if you're around a team of people, you develop as a human. It's a thing called a human relationship, and it's called a work relationship, and it's called mentoring, and that's how you get better. You know, whether it's a coach in athletics at college, how do you do that remotely? You know, how do you get better without the relationship of somebody who's willing to take an interest with you and be with you with all those micro meetings during the day after that Zoom? And now, oh, I don't have advancement opportunities. Sorry. If you forced it and stayed home after COVID was over and you kicked and screamed to keep a work from home opportunity and now you're not advancing, I'm sorry, you made the wrong decision.
For me, this comes down to one word, and that word is leverage. We talked about who had leverage during COVID. And it was the employee. They said, hey, look, I'm not going to the freaking office. It's COVID. I don't know what was going on here.
The government said to stay home.
Yeah, I have the leverage here, right?
Home, yeah.
So now the leverage has shifted. The employer has the leverage. You have the option to say, well, look, if you're just not coming into the office, we'll go find a better candidate, or a candidate is willing to come into the office. I still can't believe this is a thing. We are a quarter away. Yeah. We're out 3 to 4 months away from having the 4-year anniversary of the onset of COVID.
Yeah. Wow.
The fact that people are still basically saying, yeah, you know, hey, COVID, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't wanna get that new strain of COVID.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to work from the office anymore is so dumbfounding to me.
It's stupid. They're lazy.
But again, it comes down to leverage. If the company is like, yeah, well, you know, we'll let them do that. That's fine. The employee will take advantage of the employer's niceness, weakness, whatever it is.
I don't think it's leverage. I don't think employers are trying to take advantage of this right now. I think there's a reality.
It's a better word than leverage.
That people want to be promoted and they're not able to.
I actually agree with them, but I'm going to replace the word leverage with abuse. And let me tell you what abuse is. You know, when they say you want to test someone's character, give them power, you learn a lot about them. Okay. Employees had a lot of power during COVID. What do? They abused the power. You know you did if you're watching this. You know who you are. Don't act like you didn't. I know you're watching right now thinking like I'm your boss. You don't work for me. It's not you and I. But you know you abused it. Many of you did. I'm not talking. If you're my audience, if you're PVD podcast audience, probably not you, but 10, 20% of people that watch the PBD podcast because they can't stand what we talk about, we love you as well. But you know, some of you abused it, okay? And by the way, we also know many business owners abuse their power as well. We've seen that happen as well, where you know somebody's doing what they're doing. You're abusing your power against your people and knowing they've done their part. They've risen. They've done good things. By the way, abuse from the top nor from the bottom is not a good long-term strategy. You will be exposed. The market will expose you. The market will expose an abusive father. The market will expose an abusive husband. The market will expose an abusive wife. The market will expose an abusive mom. The market will expose an abusive boss, an abusive employee. It's just going to be taking place. But I will tell you this here with what's going on. I remember when this happened. Do you remember what I said on the podcast when this was going on? I said, because you guys, it was you and a couple other guys, like, guys, if you can get your raise, go get it. I said, I'm telling you.
I remember that.
Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it.
And I took the other side. I was like, go get your money.
Yeah, you took the other side.
Yeah.
But listen, this is fine. This is why we have the exchange. I said, don't do it. This is why I said, don't do it.
Yeah, because you reward loyalty.
Dude, like Maral and Tikran are multimillionaires now, bro. Tikran started minimum wage with me. $10 an hour. Tikran, I don't even know what we paid you when you first got started. Minimum wage.
You were paying him too much, Pat.
Nah, by the way, some would say we were paying him much. But guess what happened with him? He just got promoted to the VP of Distribution and Sales.
I love that guy.
And you know what? Equity shares got emotional. He was in tears when we made the announcement at the restaurant and with Capitol Grill in Dallas. It was awesome. Love this guy. But guess what? Loyalty. His kids are my kids. The other day, I'm throwing a ball with them, and Daniel and Dante were, just pitching as if I know how to pitch, but I'm giving them the basic fundamentals.
My boy.
We're having a good time together, right? Mario, same thing. There is a value in you doing that long term. I'm on one of these podcasts this week. I don't know who it was. Guy asked me a question, what's one of your biggest fears? And I don't even know how we got into it. You know what I said was one of my biggest fears? One of my biggest fear is losing God's favor.
Wow.
I don't know if I have many fears outside of that. I really don't know if I have. Like, I think about what I have. Do I want to go out there and, have a penthouse on the 100th floor and sit outside, have a cup of coffee? Probably not. That's not my cup of tea, if you know what I'm talking about. You've been there. Do I want to go out there, jump out of a plane, and go like one of those guys that are flying like this and all this other stuff?
That's not your thing,
Oh, the
Pat.
squirrel suit?
bro.
The squirrel suit?
But
No.
it's not. I have zero interest, right?
Yeah.
Biggest fear, losing God's favor. There's nothing worse than you getting favor after being on your knees praying, God, if you give me this, I will commit to you for the rest of my life, and I'll do my best. My relationship with God, I feel like it's a David and God type of a relationship, okay? And I'm the underdog. It's the whole David and Goliath story. We have a very unique relationship. When you have a relationship with a boss or a supervisor or a CEO or a person you're working with where they have your back and they're willing to make your life better, don't lose favor. Don't be an asshole. Don't be a jerk. Don't abuse. Vice versa. When you have people's loyalty, don't do the same. This doesn't mean don't have high expectations. This doesn't mean don't challenge them. This doesn't mean don't call them out. This doesn't mean sit there and be like, oh my God, all this other stuff. I love one of the things Elon talks about in his book. This is why I tell everybody to go buy Musk's book. One of the best things he talks about in his book is the following, the commandments that they have when you work with an Elon. Here's what they say. A maniacal sense of urgency is a must when you work with Elon. Here's the other one he says. Camaraderie is dangerous. It makes it hard for people to call each other out.
100%.
There's a tendency to not want to throw a colleague under the bus if he's your friend. Guess what we have? Hey, you're not doing something, call them out. Is that the right thing? Is this? Is this that? No, that's our environment. That's our culture. But never, ever, if you have favor with anybody, never screw up losing favor with someone that is willing to go above and beyond to do great things for you. That's God, that's father, that's husband, that's wife, that's family, that's friends. That's running mates. That's people that have your back, any of that.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.